you are a business that works on monthly retainers or monthly fees, or like rental, things like that, then repeating invoices is a really great way saving some time and getting it all set up and automated for you. So I'm going to look at this and how this works. So if you come into the sales overview and then click on repeating, you can see all your repeating invoices. So there aren't any at the moment. I'm going to turn that off. So to do a new repeating invoice, you can either do it from anywhere in the sales invoice area. You can't do it up here because it just goes to invoice, but you can do it from here as well. You can do new repeating invoice. And then you can also do this if it's quarterly, annually, if there's like an annual service contract, for example, or however you want to do it. You can set how many months or weeks. If it's like a 4-weekly thing, you could do that as well. So I'm going to do one that is every month. And I'm going to invoice on the first month. Okay, so what I've done here is because it needs to go out on the 1st, and today's the 2nd, it will default to say that it's already occurred. So it will just pop it into drafts, and then in drafts, you can then change it and send it out. But going forward, everything will be sent on the 1st. So this is really good, is if you do normally send everything out on the 1st of the month, for example, because you can then set it to run from the 1st going forward, but the first one will go into drafts, but you can adjust and send it on that day. Or if it's just to start on the next 1st of the month, then you can just choose the 1st of the month and it'll be fine. It'll automatically pre-populate your due date, but again, if you've arranged special terms, you can change that there. If it's a set agreement, say it's a annual agreement that you've set for 3 years, or you've got a monthly one for a year, you can put an end date in as well, so it stops automatically, which means you don't invoice them for more than you should. So I'm going to pretend that this is an annual contract, 12 monthly payments. It's in there. You can also use this if you're happy to spread the cost of a job or project over a few months. I personally wouldn't recommend splitting the cost over a few months once you've already completed it, because you've done the work, you deserve to be paid. But you could, for example, say you're going to spread something over 3 months, starting with the deposit, a middle bit and the end bit. So you get paid before you've finished all of the work, and you can put that in 1 month for 3 months. You can also use this for like a membership type subscription, and you can leave it open-ended, or you can set it as annual membership or monthly membership and set dates if you need to. And what it says here is invoice number and the currency rate, where applicable, if you're multi-currency, will be set on the invoice creation date. So it's not going to give it an invoice number yet, but when it creates the invoice on the 1st of the month and sends it out, it will then create the invoice number. And you've got a couple of options. So you can save it as draft, you can approve it, or you can approve for sending. I personally wouldn't use the approve one because there's no point there, because you need to send it, otherwise they're going to pay it. Or you may want to do it as a draft so you can change it. Now this is really good if, for example, like a VA, so you're going to invoice your client every month and you have a set rate, but it fluctuates the amount of hours. So maybe you've got them on an hourly rate, then at the end of the month you'll invoice them for the set number of hours that you've done. This is where the save as draft is really great, because you can tick that. You can put in VA hourly rate, and you would need to put 1 in for now just to get it to work, and you work at £45 an hour. Put in your sales type, it will automatically pop in the tax rate, and you can put in the regions if you want. You can also use your item codes that you used before, so like support. You can put that in, and that can go in a repeating one as well. You then pop in your invoice, who you're invoicing, and a reference if you want to. And what it will do is it says it's got different default settings to what we've put in here. So you may want to check and change that they're still correct. So this is defaulted because we set Pink Peak Financials up to have a default of 14 days. It's changed from 7 to 14. So again, you can adjust that if you want to. The reference is really good to use. You can use this. So you can put like month, year, VA services. What it will do is it will choose the month and year based on the invoice date. So for example, if you are a VA, I'm just going to use this example because it works really well, and you want to invoice at the end of the month, I'd always set my invoice date to be the last working day or the last day of that month, so it picks up that it's May 24 VA services. Because if you put 1st of June, it will then say June VA services, which you don't really want because it relates to the previous month being May. So I'm just going to pop that back. So you would save that. And then what will happen is when it comes to the 1st of the month, it will raise the invoice and it will pop it into drafts for you. And then you can go into drafts. Actually, let's change this so I can show you exactly how it works with the... So, okay, it's changed. So next month it'll be fine. Save it. So what you'll see is it has put it in drafts for May. So you can come into here. You can then adjust the amount of hours. So this month they've used you for 20 hours, for example, and that'll automatically update here. You can attach your timesheet if you want to, and then you can approve it and send it. And then next month it'll do the same and it will regenerate, and then you can just adjust and send it. So this is really good because it means you don't have to type everything out every month, but you can just tweak it and send it. So that's one way that repeating invoices work. The other way, if we go back to repeating, if you put approve and send, what will happen instead of it going into your drafts for you to tweak, so it's the same thing, so it's like a retainer, monthly package, always the same thing. For example, like this line, you would press save. You would choose the wording that you want. So repeating invoice basic, you can set up more than one repeating invoice template if you want to. You want to include the PDF and you want to take it as mark as sent so that you know it's been sent. Done. And what happens now is that will then, on the 1st of every month, it will get raised and emailed to your client. So you don't need to do anything. And if you've got payment services attached to it, the even better thing is it can raise the invoice, it will send the details to the payment service. So for example, this is where Go Cardless is really good for this, or you can use Stripe as well for repeating payments. But Go Cardless especially, it will then send it to Go Cardless. Go Cardless will trigger and they'll set up the collection. So your invoice will get raised, sent, collected, marked as paid, and you don't need to do a thing. It just does it all for you. So yeah, I do love this, sorry. What you'll see here as well is when you've got more of them here, the invoice, it will say here if it's approved and sent or if it's just saved as draft. So you know which ones are which and you can keep an eye on them and everything. And it'll just say like the next invoice date, the end date. And you can, obviously it's not going to show much here because we've only got one, but you can filter onto these so you can see what's coming up, what's gone and everything. And once they've finished, then they'll no longer have the next invoice date in there and they'll no longer go. So that is repeating invoices. You can also, so if you've got somebody set up a draft invoice that actually then needs to be changed to repeating. So for example, our proposal system, we do all of our quotes through a proposal system, and once that gets accepted, it sends the draft invoice into Xero for us. So we then have to set that up as repeating. So you can come into the invoice, and then Calendly thing's annoying me. You can click on these three dots and you can click on repeat, and then it'll automatically transfer it over to a repeating invoice, and then we can just adjust what we need to, set it as save as draft or save for sending. So I'm just going to pop this one here just so you can see the differences. And you can see now there's no end date on this and it'll be saved as draft. But what you do need to do is just come back in and just delete the ones you don't want out of here, so that you're not just leaving them in there. So once you've set it to repeating, come back and delete the draft, because you don't need that any longer, unless you're sending that one out as of that day. So just want to confirm, clicking over here, that's showing you that the customer has a credit limit set, so you can just know that they've got a credit limit, and then you can look into it in more detail if you need to. Just by clicking on it, it will take you in and it'll give you some information, and then you can click into the client as well if you want to look into more details about credit. But it also has it there, so you can see what is and isn't available. You can also, from the repeating invoice, you can also click onto here and you can view repeating invoice template, which is here, and then you can adjust it as well. So you can get to them in a few different ways. So yeah, that's how repeating invoices work in Xero.